yoga and yoga chikitsa, yoga therapy. So today, from our check-in, we're going to be focusing on a lot on the upper back, neck, and shoulders, lower back, and legs. So kind of the whole body. So just starting by finding your feet, bending your knees over second toes, a soft Utkatasana, and then inhale, pulling up into Tadasana, pulling up on the kneecaps, and exhale, bending the knees. So as you do that, if you feel one leg can't engage as well as the other, you might want to put that foot back and just see if that helps you engage both legs evenly. So I only discovered this a year ago, constant learning process, and I was amazed how it changed my practice, just bringing my longer leg back occasionally, just helping engage. So just start with that and adjust as needed. When you inhale, if you like, lift your toes, and that creates an arch in your feet. And exhale, bend the knees. So we're just really starting with that root, the prāṇāyāma. Inhale, lifting the energy up from the earth, up the spine, and exhale, letting go down to the earth. Inhale, drawing up energy from the feet, legs, and up. And exhale, rooting down. Adding some arms to this. Inhale, arms up, radiating like the sun, bringing in the prāṇāyāma. Now, if you've got a shoulder issue, you can bring your arms front, or you can bring your arms side. Exhale, bringing your arms down. And you can play with those two movements. Inhale, front, exhale, side. Exhale, front, and then inhale, side, exhale, side. Or you can combine them, of course. Now, at the top of the inhale, you can try lifting your arms up if that works for you. You can also have your elbows bent. And exhale, coming down, you could bend your elbows like this, getting more into the shoulders. Just feeling your body this morning, seeing what's going on. So identifying any areas that need to be worked out in your practice. And as teachers and experienced practitioners, you know how to do that now. Bringing the hands to the heart, perhaps standing in samastiti, yogena chittasyam. I'm just going to chant this straight through. And if you're interested, it is on my website and I can send it to you. Invocation to Patanjali. As a bhavana, you can think of this image of 1,000-headed snakes and a human body from the shoulders down, holding a sword, a disc, and a conch shell. Fourth hand, they don't say what he's holding. And we honor this embodiment of Ananta. Ananta means infinite harmony, balance, the balance of stiram and sukham, strength and softness that you see in a snake. Yogena chittasya padena vacham malam sharirasya cha vaijakena yopakarotam pravaram munena patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi Abahu Purushakaram Shankachakra-sitharinam Sahasrashirasam Shvetam Pranamami Patanjalim Srimate Anandaya Nagarajaya Namo Namaha Namo Namaha. Repeat this with me. This means I honor Patanjali, honor the teachers of the yoga tradition. Namo Namaha. Namo Namaha. Namo Namaha. Down. Inhale, arms side, perhaps coming up on the toes. And exhale, arms coming down. I'm going to keep the legs straight now. This is the classical way we do Tadasana. The last period of Krishnamacharya's life, as preserved by his son, TKV Deshikachar. It's actually how you're supposed to say his name. He said Desikachar to make it easy for us, which I just love. I only learned that in the last year. Inhale up. Exhale, coming down. And passed to me by his students, Sri Devi Sridhar, Srimati Radha Sridhar. Inhale, coming up. And Srimati Vijay Basu, now retired. I had a class with her last night, so I'm thinking of her. And if you have teachers who have brought you the knowledge of yoga, you can honor them now as you do this practice, just bringing in that bhavana. Bringing in the blessings of the elders. Sri Guru Pyo Namaha. Inhale, coming up. When you're ready, hands at the heart. Moving into our side bends. Inhale, arms coming out to the sides. You're welcome to bring your hands to the top of the head or to your shoulders, or just leave them at the sides. It's great to see your various modifications. I know where to go. And then exhale, coming to one side. Now you can keep up on the toes if you like. This is a challenge. Draw that belly in. And as a modification, you can bend that top arm, you can bring the arm down, and you can come down onto your feet and press the hip out. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, coming to the side. So you can just go back and forth in your own way. You can keep up on the toes, you can release the arm, you can release the feet. Just keep this going your own timing, side to side now. You can try different versions, just play with it and see what's going to work best. You want to align your shoulders as much as possible. You can have your back at a wall to help with that. And just see which one's going to serve you. I find bending the top elbow really helps me get into the rib cage. Lengthening helps get more down into the lower back. Keep drawing the belly in on that exhale. And I know at least one of you has scoliosis, so one side might be different than the other. This is a great pose for SI joints, for scoliosis, for neck and shoulders. I do this one almost every day. Now, after your next round, I'm going to consider staying on each side. You can keep it moving if you're feeling not warm enough. It is early in the morning for us, so you might feel you need to keep moving. But if you feel ready, staying on your easy side first and then moving to your harder side, or classically stay left and then move right. Just staying here in the position, find your pose. I'm going to hold opposite elbows. And if you want to move with this stay, you can inhale like this and then exhale, come over, inhale up and exhale back. So that's a modification. You can play with that shoulder as you do that. You can make it even harder by going to the wall and pressing out of the wall. Get some traction. It's harder to breathe when you're in these more twisted poses or lateral bends. Focus on long exhale. And this one is a really important one for those with scoliosis or imbalances of the spine. Going to the other side. So same foot behind as the leg coming on top. That's how I remember. Works for most people. So left leg behind, right on top, and then that left arm to the side. Sticking the hip out. Kind of line those shoulders. So the body will try to compensate by creating softness, leaning forward, for example. When you're ready, coming out. Finding your samastiti. So that's our first set. And that might be your practice. Let's go into our first forward bend. Now, if you've got a shoulder issue, you might want to use a chair for your forward bend so you're not coming forward as much, and the shoulder coming forward might feel uncomfortable. Left foot forward, right foot turned out. I'm going to show classically, but feel free to modify with a chair. Inhale, arms coming up front. Exhale, drawing the belly in, extending nice and long. Again, you can modify by bending the front knee and bringing the hands down the leg or coming to a chair. Just finding your pose today. How's your leg doing? Stretching one leg at a time. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, starting position. So classically, we do Parshva Uttanasana before Uttanasana to prepare one leg at a time. It's considered easier. And doing this in your own time. Please repeat 4 times and then stay in the pose or continue flowing if you prefer. To make it harder still by adding what Srivastava Ramaswamy does, he adds this interlocking of the hands as you move up and down, and this can be very good for adding some traction to the spine. Release the hands at the bottom and then again interlock, inhale up. For 4 times staying. In the stay, feel free to go to one side or the other to get into different parts of the leg. So the big toe side, you'll get into the inner thigh. Staying here around 4 breaths. Little toe side, you'll get into the back leg and the lower back on the back leg side. So the right side of the left foot is forward. And when you're ready, coming up, bringing your hands up your leg and then adding the arms perhaps as you inhale. Exhale, starting position, hands down. Bending the front knee, coming back, samastiti. Feet can be together or apart. Bringing your right foot forward and turning your back foot out. If you can, swivel from the heel. I don't have the flexibility in my calves to do that, but that's the classical, is keep the heel down and move the toes out. Inhale, arms coming up. The length of your stance depends on your flexibility and comfort. Chin in, Jalandhara Bandha when you come up. Modify, of course, arms anywhere you like. Exhale, forward bend. I'm going to interlock those fingers. You can bend the front knee, of course. Inhale, coming up, and especially if you have one leg longer than the other, you might want to bend that knee when you come forward to create room for your hip, because doing it with a straight leg might cause a bit of jamming into the hip joint. So just be mindful of your body. Modifying to what works for you this morning. Really draw your belly in on that exhale. Start to exhale before you start to move. Pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in. When you're ready, stay in the pose. On that stay, you can inhale, lengthen sthiti. Exhale, forward bend. And you can bring your hands to one side or the other. The big toe side should be your easier side, but it also gives a stretch in the inner leg, which can be very helpful. So try that. It also changes how the pose affects the lower back. Of course, you can go to the little toe side. And when you're ready, coming up, recommend just bring your hands up the leg, feeling out your lower back, and perhaps adding the weight of the arms at the end, rather than right away, because that can just tweak your back after a big stretch. And coming back, and again, Zoom is giving me this weird message about my microphone. So just stand in samastiti while I fix this. I'm gonna have to figure this out later. I don't know why it keeps doing this to me. Each class. You guys can hear me, right? It says that you can't, but you can. Okay, great. All right, so let's continue. So, Uttanasana. Inhale, arms coming up to the sides. You're welcome to do this again with a chair if coming forward does not work for your shoulders. Exhale, I'm going to bring the hands through the center. Again, you can stagger those feet if you like. But really draw the belly in. Inhale. I want you to visualize the radiant sun all around you. As you exhale, you might want to visualize a waterfall. You are the center, a piece of glass being cleaned, the mirror of the mind. Oh. Always bend the knees at the bottom, of course. Inhale, visualize the radiant sun all around you, shining out of the heart, center of spiritual connection. Om. Inhale, coming up, bringing in that prana, that energy. Exhale, apana, rooting down. Om. Inhale, coming up. We're going to do 3 more with Om Namo. Halfway Om, the next half Namo. This means I surrender. Om Namo. Inhale, coming up. And doing this with me, work on lengthening the breath. Om Namo. Inhale, coming out, radiant sun. Exhale, waterfall, cleansing the mirror of the mind, that glass in the center of the fall. Om Namo. Staying at the bottom, if you like, doing some stiti. Inhale, lengthening the spine. Exhale, keep that length as you draw your ribcage a bit forward towards your knees. Belly on the thighs, release the head, neck, and shoulders, perhaps hands beside the little toe side of the feet, or you can place them ahead of you and come up onto the fingertips during that inhale, or bring the hands on the shins. And you can even massage through your legs and feet. Just kind of a nice modification to connect to the legs and feet. When you're ready, coming all the way up. Exhale, starting position, hands at the heart. Namaste. I honor that in you, which is the same as that in me. That conscious link between us and all that is. What that is named in multiple ways, and connected with in multiple ways throughout the world, through our indigenous cultures and our contemporary cultures. And that's the essence of Om Namo. Right, moving into lateral bends. Actually, before we do that, let's do some warrior. I'm going to warm you up a bit more. It is a bit cold. So coming to the back of your mat, let's do some warriors for the neck and shoulders, and then we'll move into our twists, lateral and twists. Bringing the left foot forward, the right foot turning out. And you might want to make your stride a little bigger or less big. So bend that front knee and see if you can bring your knee towards your toes a bit so you get a bit more of a stretch. That back foot, just adjusting it. You can look at it, feel alignment, perhaps wider, perhaps a little more narrow. Feel that little toe side on the back foot. If you do that, you'll get into the ankle more, hips facing forward, of course. It's your warrior. All right. So inhale, arms at the sides, shoulder blades together. Now the palms can be facing forward, they can be down, just see what works. They can be any height that works for your shoulders. And then lift your chest from there and look up and see if you can feel your whole upper back stretch as you do that. And then exhale, give yourself a hug, put your shoulder that might hurt the most below you. And round your upper back. Press your upper back back. Inhale, coming forward, shoulder blades together. Lift the chest. And exhale, other side, rounding the upper back, bring it back, head down. Just keep this going your own timing. This is for upper back, neck, and shoulders. Some of you might feel better not looking up with the head, that's fine. There's different views on that. I find it extremely effective for getting into that kyphosis in the upper back. And also for flossing the neck. So it's been a real game changer for me personally. After you've done around 6, just finishing up by stepping back, and going to the other side. Bending that front knee over the ankle towards the second toe, finding your stance, feeling the effect on the back hip. Nice. When you're ready, inhale, coming into your pose, exhale, giving yourself a hug. Do this 6 times. Keep changing the crossings, so 3 sets of left underneath, right underneath, or whatever it is for you. And focus more on the inhale or more on the exhale according to your energy today. Do you need to soften or do you need to strengthen? Do you need to focus on prāṇāyāma, bringing in energy, or apāṇāyāma, letting go of toxins of body, breath, and mind? In the morning, I focus more on hold after inhale, but it depends on the day. And depends where I'm living, what the climate is like. Probably you are finished. I think we've probably done at least 6. Finding your samsthiti. Probably starting, your legs are starting to wake up, hopefully your neck and shoulders. Okay, so we're gonna do a little bit more for the shoulders now. And for the back, you're gonna bring the left foot forward, the right foot turned out. You're gonna inhale center. And exhale, you're gonna twist to your easy side, so the right side. My left hand is on my right shoulder. Inhale back to the center and exhale to the other side. Now, when you go to the other side, you might straighten that leg to help you get there a bit more, or you can keep it bent. Inhale, center. Now, when you come center, you go a little bit more forward. The spine will be a little straighter before you twist, which is just a rule of sequencing. We don't want to arch the back before we twist, ideally. So this is a way to modify this to make it a bit safer, and you might be able to twist a bit more if you're a little bit more forward. So you can see that in my body. Take a break at any time in between the rounds. Keep the arms up, and of course it's more strengthening for the shoulders. So if you need to soften, bring your arms down in between. Okay, let's go to the other side when you're ready. So back, a pretty big lunge there, hard to step back. The other side. Again, you can make your stance a little longer if you like. Inhale, coming into beginning of the pose, that lunge forward. Exhale to your easy side. And you can twist where you can. It's getting into the back of the shoulder. Inhale, center. And exhale, other side. This side's hard. Now, if you keep a bit more forward, it's easier. And straighten the leg. That can help you twist a bit more too. And some of you might be able to do it with a bent knee easily on both sides. Might find one side harder than the other, especially with scoliosis. There'll be a rotation of the spine, and it will be harder to twist on one side. Draw the belly in as you exhale. And just finishing up your last round. So release. Inhale and exhale back. Find your samsthiti. Uttanasana. Adjust the arms as needed for you. Inhale, arms coming up. Straight up. Exhale, extend forward, nice and long. Pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in. Again, you can slide the hands down the legs, you can bend the knees or keep extended. Again, adjust those feet as needed. And inhale, coming up. Exhale, coming forward, up and down. That pause in between, bringing the hands down, you can always add to make it easier. And also to add some grounding. So between the inhale and the exhale, you can always come back to samsthiti, which might be very settling for your nervous system and also give your body a break. Different periods of Pushpacharya's teaching. He, for example, just had you go inhale up, exhale down. So it's considered a little harder. You can interlock those fingers to make it a bit harder still. When you come up, remember to move your arms first in line with the ears. As you exhale, you're extending forward as you draw the belly in. So keep connected to that belly drawing in. So your lower back will not be completely straight because the belly's drawing in. Uttanasana, uttana, utaptana, stretch, asana, your position, your pose, your metaphor in your body of asa, presence. When you're ready, staying at the bottom, perhaps adding that sthiti still, inhale, extend, exhale, bend. If you want, you can hold the big toes as you do this. This is Krishnamacharya was very particular about his teachers wearing sandals that had the loop on the big toe because of the connection to the liver through this point between the big toe and the second toe. We can modify this by just inhale center, exhale halfway. Yeah, just very soft. Exhale, rounding, and perhaps inhale, extending if you're dealing with a shoulder issue. Okay, when you're ready, coming all the way up. Your own time. Finding your samsthiti. Hopefully your spine is feeling a little longer, your energy is starting to flow. And I always, about this time in my practice, I start to feel my leg that doesn't normally fire, all of a sudden it's awake and I can feel it. So feel any of those sensations in your body now. We're going to head down to the earth soon, but I want to do one more set of lateral and rotation. Parshva and Padavriti. So the feet about one leg width apart or whatever feels comfortable. It can be a little less, a little more. So we're going to turn that left foot out. We're going to start with Utthita Trikonasana. Inhale, arms coming up. Exhale, extend nice and long and find your pose. Now, if you've got a shoulder issue, you might want to leave that hand on the hip and that shoulder back. The arm is awake, so just decide on that for yourself. Inhale, coming up. And exhale, coming to the side. And you don't have to use the arms at all. Just keep that going. Exhale, coming into the pose. Inhale, coming up. And after about 4 or 6 times, staying in the pose if that works for you. You could hold the big toe. You could hold the shin. You could go free form to really work on the core strength. So I usually do that version. Try to keep your shoulders aligned, whatever version you're taking. That's so you're not cheating by coming forward to, for example, grab the toe. You can always bend that front knee, bend and straighten it. If you've got a knee issue, hamstring issue. When you're ready, coming up, inhale. And exhale, center. Going to the other side. I like to angle in my left foot for my knee, but classically It's square, so modify as you need to heel alignment or heel to arch. Inhale, arms coming up, shoulder height, palms down. Exhale, extending nice and long. The other hip comes out, that left hip comes out, stretching nice and long. Draw the belly in, find your place, lining those shoulders. Inhale, coming up, and if you can, keeping the neck long. Palms facing down on the inhale, and then exhale, extend. The palms are facing down, and then they rotate the other way. Draw the belly in. Each time you do it, I get a little bit longer. 4 to 6 times, depending on the length of your breath. Every day is different. It's a great one for the back, for the hips. You can stay in the pose when you're ready. 4 to 6 times, or keep it moving. With that head nice and long, you can look down. Classically, we look up. That's a lot of rotation. I will not be choosing that for my neck, but you certainly may look up to your hand. Your neck doesn't mind that. Keep drawing the belly in on each exhale. And inhale, coming up. So center here on the floor. Certainly you can do different twists on the floor to mirror what we're doing. So an injury. So we're going to move into Prāṇāyāma. Inhale, arms coming up. Exhale, coming towards your left leg. Now you can bend your knee or you can keep it straight, classically straight. Inhale, untwist the head, neck, shoulders, upper back, middle back, lower back. You can do the same thing on the floor with your legs side to side. Exhale. Moving to the other side in an arc from the shoulder down to the little toe side. You can always bend your knee. Inhale, untwist, coming up. Take a pause between exhale, hands down, or keep it going side to side. Keep it going your own timing. Inhale, center, exhale, twist. Adding a hold after exhale if you like, drawing the belly in. Again, if you're on the floor, you can do the same thing. You can add that hold after exhale. And you can modify for your shoulders by doing windshield wipers, perhaps, rather than knees to chest. Hold after exhale can be half the length of the exhale or the same length. This is great for the liver. This time of year, the liver goes through a lot in the spring. It's a kapha season. There's heat and melting of kapha, snow, so there's a lot going on for those with allergies, etc. So adding some twists can just help move some of that out, that ama, that toxicity, as your own toxins melt at this time of year. And adding more lemon water to your diet. Ayurveda recommends lime water, actually. Limes are tridoshic. We're working with samana vayu. Bringing balance to our mind and our body. It's a reminder that the gut, the enteric nervous system, has its own independent nervous system, exhale, with millions of neurons, even more than the heart center. When you're finished, coming back to the center, I also find that twist to be very emotionally regulating. I don't know about you, but the up and down of the head, the compression of the gut, it's really working with the parasympathetic nervous system, bringing it on board. So just notice how you feel. As our counter, we're going to do Ardha Utkatasana and then perhaps full Utkatasana. If you're on the floor, you can do Apanasana. And you can do harder versions. Inhale, extend the legs straight. Exhale, draw the knees in if you want to make that harder, one leg at a time or both. Okay, so I know one of you has an injury, so I'm just trying to cue for you. So you keep with us. Inhale, arms at the sides. And for the teachers, that's the super fun part of yoga therapy. How can I make this work for everyone? Exhale, bend the knees, draw the belly in. Hug that imaginary tree, and I'm going to do a land acknowledgement to the Seashell Nation at this point. You can do that for your own nation, wherever you are, if that speaks to you. Inhale, arms at the sides, draw those shoulder blades together. This is for neck and shoulders. And then exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, round the spine, bend those knees over the second toes. Inhale, feeling the sky, feeling the wind, feeling the sun. Exhale, feeling the earth, feeling the water. These are the more rounded elements. And India has one more element, Akasha, space. So feeling space, wind, and sun. And exhale, feeling earth, water, and grounding. Indigenous cultures around the world honor the earth in all of its forms and try to live in harmony with it. So really, that's the essence of what I've seen from all the ancient wisdom traditions. That's the first version of them, is some sort of connection to the earth, including in the West, the early pagan traditions before Christianity came and incorporated paganism and Greek and Roman philosophy into the theology. And finishing up, we're going to do full Utkatasana, where we come to the floor. I'm going to add a block to work with for me, because I can't squat without one, but if you can squat without putting something under your heels, go for it. Or my teacher in India this time made me do it just so he's like, you can do this, came down with my feet turned out, which I can sort of do, but not super well. So that's another modification, is what Iyengar calls malasana in other traditions, modification of full Utkatasana, full squat. Inhale, arms coming up. I'm going to do this classically, except for this prop under my heels. Exhale, keep your arms up as you bend your knees and sit down. Now, modification for neck and shoulders is release the arms down, which I particularly like, and it gets into the lower back. And if you release the head down, you get that whole stretch of the back of the spine. Inhale, start by moving the arms. You can come up like someone's lifting you up like a basket. You can interlock those fingers up if you like, or palms together. And just keep that going up and down. You can take the pause in between back to samastiti if you want to make it easier. And you can leave the arms up at the bottom of the pose if you like. That is classical. I particularly like this modification functionally, releasing the neck and shoulders. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in. This pose is a super Lungana pose. It reduces toxins in the GI tract. And it does it with heat. So I call it heated Lungana because of the effort taken in our musculoskeletal system to do this pose. There's heat generated. Wonderful for constipation of body and mind. It is very helpful for gardening to be able to squat. So for my gardeners, this is for you. And this is the Apana pose, root, funny or root. Think of yourself like a carrot growing into the earth. And we're going to stay at the bottom now. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms down. And just sit for a moment. So we're going to do one round of pranayama now before we do some seated poses. I'm actually going to skip the supine today and go right into seated because we always seem to run out of the time. I want to just focus a bit more on pranayama today. So sitting comfortably, if this pose doesn't work for you, you can sit on a chair. So I'm going to do Pratiloma Ujjayi Pranayama, which is a very balancing pranayama, balancing for the mind, balancing for the body, balancing for the breath and the nervous system. Inhale, Ujjayi Pranayama, both nostrils. Exhale. Start with your right hand, exhale, I'm mirroring for you. Exhale through your left nostril. Inhale through the left nostril. Left nostril half closed if you can do that. Exhale, Ujjayi Pranayama, both nostrils. And I take chin mudra as I do that exhale. The chin slightly down, Jalandhara Bandha. Throughout the practice if you can. Now I'm going to switch hands for the next round. Inhale, both nostrils, Ujjayi Pranayama. Your valve is your throat. Exhale, your right nostril, Anuloma Ujjayi. Half closed left nostril, right nostril rather. Inhale through that right nostril. Again, it's half closed. Exhale, both nostrils, bring the hand down. So that second part is called Viloma Ujjayi Pranayama. When you put them together, it's Pratiloma Ujjayi Pranayama. Inhale, both nostrils. Exhale, left nostril. Inhale, left. Exhale, both. Inhale, both. Switching hands, exhale, right. Keep the elbow high. Half close the nostril. Inhale, right. Exhale, both. Let this go in your own timing. For another 2 to 3 rounds, depending on the length of your breath. Counting the breath. We're not doing any holds right now, just even inhale, exhale, sama for the teeth. So inhale 6 to 12 seconds, exhale the same. When you're finished, just do ujjayi pranayama as the counter. Try to keep the chin slightly down through the practice if it doesn't hurt your neck. Perhaps move into a meditation if you've done your counter of ujjayi. During that meditation, have the tip of the tongue at the roof of the mouth. Chin slightly down if that works for you. Or you can also extend your back nice and long, and then from there, just drop your chin slightly. So we've seen the full moon this week, so I thought we could do a full moon meditation. So I want you to visualize the full moon all around you. You're sitting inside the moon. Feel the radiance of the moon. Soft radiance. Gardeners know that this full moon helps their plants grow. It's because they get more light, like a light box on your plants. Grow light. Moon is doing that. The light is very soft and gentle, not harsh like the sun. It's a reflective light of the sun. The full moon represents the mind that is stable, full, clear, reflecting the light of the heart in alignment, mind in alignment with the soul. Just gonna do a very simple chant that doesn't turn hot. About soma. Soma is that amrita, that glow of the moon, that glow of the pregnant woman, that glow of the yogi who does prāṇāyāma meditation. Sure you're comfortable in your seat. Somaya-namaha. So bow to that soma. Om Somaya-namaha. Om Somaya-namaha. Keep this going with me. Om Somaya-namaha. Visualize the full moon as you chant with me. Om Somaya-namaha. 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 Stretching your legs out. Asana. Angle my camera down a bit. Just gonna take an asana pause for 10 minutes, and then we're gonna come back to another round of pranayama meditation. I just want to have you experience a little bit more of these deeper practices and get neglected because of asana. Inhale, arms coming up. And exhale, coming forward. Inhale, arms coming up. Exhale, twisting to your left, coming forward. Inhale, arms coming up. Exhale, twisting right, coming forward. Inhale, arms coming up. Exhale, center. Keep this going side to side and center, left, right, center in your own time with your own breath. Taking a pause between inhale and exhale, try to move your arms before you move your back when you come up. When you exhale, focus on drawing your belly in from the pelvic floor up. Notice if one side is easier than the other. This is very balancing for the back, for the hips. You can always have a bolster that you come forward to in the center so that you can get your head down or a block. Or just don't come down as far. Try to lengthen that exhale if you can. You could play with a ratio, inhale 4, exhale 8, for example. Counting in your head the ratio. When you finish your next round, just stay in the center. Or rather, sorry, actually, let's do this. Stay on each side for 4 breaths and then in the center for 4 breaths. So let's do that just to get into it a bit more. For the stay, you can inhale, do a sthiti, lengthen the spine, exhale, forward fold. Play with the arms if you've got shoulder issues, etc. You can play with extending one arm, bending the other. When you're ready, going to the other side if you haven't. And when you're ready, you have it going to the center. You can, classically, the hands are in front. You can modify it by holding the big toes or holding the feet in a different way. You can also bring a prop in front of you for your head, if you like. We're going to go to the side. We're going to twist one side at a time. It's coming to your left. Just going to that side bend. Holding the foot if you can. Try to keep the opposite hip down. It will want to come up. You can move this, of course. Inhale, bring the arm up. And exhale forward into the bend. Or just stay. When you're ready, coming up, going to the other side. Center, exhale, going into the other side. Notice one side's easier than the other. You can always double up on that harder side or start with that harder side and then go to, start with your easier side and then go to the harder side. So both approaches are possible. You can always double up on the harder side to get more in there. Or if it's feeling quite painful, start with your easy side and then see if you can touch that harder side. When you're ready, just coming forward again, and you might notice that your forward bend has changed from doing those side bends. That was one of my early yoga therapy discoveries in my 20s in dance. I always noticed that. The tightness in the side body can affect our forward bend a lot. When you're ready, coming up, and we're going to do Baddha Konasana. And you can sit on a block if you like. You can have blocks under each hip as well. We're going to do this movement version I showed you last week. So inhale, center. Exhale, draw the belly in round the spine. And at the end of that exhale, come forward. Inhale, lengthen the spine and come up nice and tall. Exhale, draw in from pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, and lean back slightly, bring the chin in. At the end of the exhale, on the hold after exhale, come down. Inhale, arching the spine, coming up. And exhale, coming down. And when you feel ready, you can stay forward. Some of you might want to continue moving if you're a bit tighter in your hips. And also add a block. Put your forehead on. You're ready coming up. Sometimes teachers in our tradition do a counter to such a pose in a sort of an interesting way. So you can have your feet together, and then in this position, lift your chest and lift your pelvis up and just arch your spine this way and exhale, release. So this is kind of fun if you want to try. Something more, Srivastava Ramaswamy does these kinds of things as counters. Inhale, lifting. Another counter you could do is Chakrabakasana. That one's easier, or Dvipadapidam bridge if this is not working for you. You can just try that. Your wrists and shoulders allow for it. And then hopefully, whatever you've done, counter all that for bending, will allow you to now sit comfortably. Another round of prāṇāyāma meditation. Exactly the time. I hope we would be very comfortable in this pose. So I like to cross my feet under my knees because my knees of late have been a little vulnerable from a ski fall. So feel free to do that, or put blocks under your knees, or sit in a different position. You don't want any pain in your knees, whatever you're doing. Just be comfortable. Sukhasana, if there's another pose that you can comfortably do, you're welcome to do that. One of the classical poses of meditation. Just notice how you're feeling. Our next pranayama, we're going to do again Pratiloma Ujjayi pranayama that we did earlier, but this time I invite you to add some holds after inhale, exhale. So Vishama Vritti, uneven ratio. So for example, inhale 8, hold 4, exhale 8, hold 4. That will be fairly balanced. If you want to focus more on the inhale, for example, you could do inhale 8, hold 4 to 8, exhale 8, no hold. So that's more to wake up if you're feeling lethargic or tamasic or heavy, kapha, kapha. If you're feeling anxious or rajasic, vata or pitta imbalances, you might want to hold after exhale. So you decide. Inhale Ujjayi, exhale left nostril, inhale left nostril, exhale Ujjayi, inhale Ujjayi, exhale right nostril, inhale right, exhale Ujjayi. Your timing for let's try 3 rounds, and you might be able to do 4 depending on the length of your breath. I recommend switching sides with the hands just so that you're activating both sides of your brain and you're not always twisting to one side. Remember the chin slightly down, Jalandhara, if that's okay for your neck. And the elbow lifting high, you're cupping the hand on top. I like to put a little pressure on my third eye. The nostril half closed that you're exhaling through. The other nostril fully closed, of course. And Ujjayi, I usually have my hands in chin mudra. If you want to try that, Yana mudra. Just finishing up your last round, wherever you are. Somaya Namaha, 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 Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Namaste. Namaskaram.